So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the deposit. So first of all, as a landlord, you have to decide whether you're going to take a deposit, and obviously you don't have to take a deposit. Perhaps if you've got a longer tenancy or you're going to have a longer tenancy, you might decide not to take one. But if you're going to do perhaps a tenancy for students, then it's probably advisable to take a deposit. A deposit is typically anything from 1 month's rent to 6 weeks' rent. So once you've made the decision to take a deposit, you then have to decide what you're going to do with that deposit. And within 30 days of taking the deposit in full, you have to register that deposit with one of 3 providers, and you have to inform the tenants through something known as the prescribed information as to what you've done with that deposit. The 3 providers are the Deposit Protection Service, which offers a custodial service, the Tenancy Deposit Scheme, which offers both an insured service and a custodial service, and My Deposits, again, which offers both an insured scheme and a custodial scheme. So the first decision for you as a landlord or letting agent is you need to decide whether you're going to keep the money and insure the tenant's deposit, or whether you're going to pay the money over to one of these schemes. The cost, if you keep the money in your own bank account, is that you have to take the insurance, and that typically starts from about £14 upwards. Whereas with the custodial scheme, you part with the money, it's out of your bank account, and everybody knows where it is. So you register with one of these providers, and you choose one of these providers, and you end up with a login on their website. You then enter some basic details about the property that you're renting, for example, how long the tenancy is, the number of bedrooms it has, etc. And then for each of the tenants' deposits, you enter some details about the tenants, obviously their full name, their phone number, an alternative phone number, a contact address if it's not going to be your property for when they leave the property, etc. You then pay your money over or take the insurance. The deposit scheme that you've chosen then emails the tenant some days later and provides them confirmation that that their deposit is protected, and provides them with information as to what to do at the end of the tenancy. So at the end of the tenancy, that's assuming the tenants has performed all their rights and obligations, and the property is being returned to you in a good, clean state, and you're happy with that. Then you basically log into the tenant's deposit website, and you release the tenant's money, and then the tenant logs into the website and they enter the details as to which bank account they want it all to be paid to. So that's if everything's gone smoothly. If you think there has been a problem with the property, perhaps the property hasn't been cleaned, or there are rent arrears on the property and there's some reason for you to retain some of that deposit, then within 10 days you have to contact the tenant and inform the tenant as to what deductions you're going to make, and then you enter the details of those deductions into the deposit protection website that you've chosen, and then the tenant has a period of time to either agree with those deductions you've made or to contest any of those deductions. I must note that it's very hard to make deductions unless you have a very detailed inventory at the start of the tenancy and a pretty detailed inventory at the end of the tenancy. So if you're going to try and argue to withhold money for the stain on the carpet, you need proof that there was that stain on the carpet. If the tenant and you cannot reach agreement on the deductions, then all of the services offer an arbitration service where someone will basically sit and judge the case and decide whether you as the landlord are reasonable or whether the tenant is reasonable, and they will make a decision, and you will get your money back anyway. It is worth noting that if you have had tenants in a house for a year or so, a considerable period of time, that you do need to be reasonable and allow for reasonable wear and tear. There are many landlords that try and charge for everything, so you have to take a little bit of a business view or pragmatic view.